The SR-Tech Corvette, SR-Tech Pessima 1st and 2nd Gen, and the SR-Tech 200BX are all VTEC inspired 4-banger engine cars that come from a repo mod called KLJP. First, let's start with the SR-Tech Corvette. The Corvette doesn't come with a stock config, so I made a config for the Corvette. Now keep in mind that this config does use Kennywire's Project Drive mod, so keep that in mind. The KLJP mod doesn't really change the styling of the Corvette, but like all the SR-Tech cars, they all have new gauge clusters. So yeah, let's move on to the start of the show. The engine. The engine is a 1.6 litre with VTEC, or while in BeamNG's law it has SR-Tech, which if you don't know what VTEC is, in the most simple explanation, it's just when a certain RPM the engine gets a kick of power. For most VTEC engines, it's around 6,000 RPM. This engine in the Corvette is ridiculously fun. This one has ITBs and a tuned ECU, which runs to 9,750 RPM. It's nuts. I'm driving this with my wheel, so I will really get a feel for it. My first impression is wow, it's like a go-kart. Even with the stock SR-Tech shocks, it feels like a go-kart. But of course we are using the Project Drive suspension. Now, I have tested this before for about 5 minutes, just to get a feel for it. And when I floored the engine, I had no words, just listen to this. Including the short ratio gearbox, the quicker ratio steering, combined with the SR-Tech engine makes this thing a masterpiece that I highly recommend. But just saying, the steering is very heavy and shaky for the steering wheel users, even with the stock SR-Tech shocks. 9.5 out of 10. Just a quick interruption to tell you guys that now I have a Discord server. Link is in the description. So this is the SR-Tech 200BX. So comparing to the Corvette, the KLJP mod actually changes the style of the 200BX with new bumpers, and that's pretty much it. The 200BX's engine just feels like a torquey 2-litre version of the SR-Tech Corvette's engine, and that's not a bad thing, because with rear-wheel drive, this car is much more, I don't know how to explain it, but it has just more like a planted feel to it, but that doesn't mean it won't jump around like the Corvette. My first impression is that it feels a lot more boring than the Corvette. That's probably caused by the heavier weight and the difference in how much the engine wants to rev compared to the Corvette. This feels far less playful than the Corvette. It's still got its own benefits compared to the Corvette, which is if you're good enough you can slide it very well. But honestly, I think this car belongs with a turbo engine instead of a naturally aspirated high rev engine. Still has that fun SR-Tech though. So this is the second last car that has SR-Tech, the 1st Gen Ibishu Pessima. The 1st Gen Ibishu Pessima SR-Tech gets the biggest upgrade of style compared to all the other SR-Tech cars. It gets a coupe, not to mention the gauge cluster and the bumpers. The engine in the Ibishu Pessima is, as far as I can tell, the same engine that is in the 200BX, just mounted transversely. And honestly, out of all the cars, I think this is my favourite one to cruise in. If you swap a 5.1 diff into this thing, it goes fantastically well. This one is my favourite out of the Pessimas because it doesn't wheel spin hard and it's fun, light, and of course it has a beautiful SR-Tech engine. The reason why I like high revving cars is because of the fun nature of them, and this one feels like the definition of a high revving VTEC car. Steers precisely and drives amazingly well. I highly recommend this one. It's up there with the Corvette and how good it is, but it does feel more refined than the Corvette. But it still has that fun SR-Tech that I love. 9 out of 10. And the last is the 2nd Gen Pessima. I mean, this one looks the best in my opinion, but again, not much change. Just a spoiler and some bumpers. The engine in the 2nd Gen Pessima is again very similar to the 2-litre in the 200BX and 1st Pessima, but this time it has a bigger displacement at 2.4 litres. So this one should have a lot more torque down low than the other cars. Still same engine I believe, but 2.4 litres. This one feels heavier again. Not heavy, but like the way the 200BX felt, but front wheel drive. Also, I love the idea of a 2.4 litre because it's like Honda's K24. As for the feeling of the steering, honestly it doesn't feel too far off the regular 2nd Gen Pessima. Not that much tighter. But the engine goes harder compared to the other cars because of the extra displacement. As for the SR-Tech though, .7 out of 10. Well, thank you for watching this video. It took me about a day to make the script and about 2 days to get all the clips and edit. Have a wonderful day.